All right, today we're going to dig into something really important from Dan Martell. It's a framework for all you entrepreneurs out there who want to grow your business, but you also want to have a life.
So let's just start with a really honest question here. I want you to think about it for a second. Do you ever feel trapped by the very thing you worked so hard to create? You poured your heart and soul into building this business, but now does it feel less like freedom and more like a cage you built for yourself? Take the story of an entrepreneur named Stuart. On paper, this guy was a huge success. He was absolutely crushing it. But behind the scenes, the constant, relentless grind was crushing him. His dream project literally turned into the cause of severe anxiety and panic attacks. And the scary part is, his story is way, way too common. But what if that's not how the story has to end? What if you could actually scale your business to new heights and get your personal freedom back at the same time? Well, that's the big promise here. It's time to learn how to buy back your time. So before we can fix the problem, we've got to diagnose it. And that starts with something called the entrepreneur's trap. That dangerous but very attractive idea that just working harder is always the answer.
Yeah, this quote just gets right to the heart of it. We're all conditioned to think that being busy is a good thing, like it's a badge of honor. But it makes you wonder, right? Is all that activity actually making you productive? Or is it just motion?
And this really boils down to two completely different ways of thinking. On one side, you have the chaos junkie. This is the founder who kind of thrives on putting out fires, maybe because deep down, chaos feels comfortable. They actually subconsciously create problems just to solve them. And on the other side, you've got the buyback principle, which is all about being intentional and building a business that's designed for freedom, not constant firefighting.
So you have to ask yourself, and be really honest here, are you a chaos junkie? Has your talent for handling chaos turned into an addiction to it? Are you creating your own problems just to get that rush from solving them? It's a tough question, but you've got to answer it if you want to move forward. Okay, enough with the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because the key to getting out of this trap isn't just about working less, it's about working differently, and it all starts with finding your genius zone. So what is this genius zone? Well, think of it like this. It's the stuff you're naturally amazing at. The tasks that don't just make you money, they actually give you energy. You feel totally alive when you're doing them. That is the bullseye.
Oprah is the perfect example of this. When she was a news anchor, she was good, competent, but it wasn't until she got her talk show that she found her true genius, that incredible, world-class ability to connect with people. That single shift from her competence zone to her genius zone unlocked absolutely everything for her.
So finding your genius zone is the goal. But let's be real, how do you find the time to actually live there? Well, that's where the buyback blueprint comes in. It's a clear, step-by-step plan to get you out of the weeds for good.
The plan itself is actually pretty straightforward. There are 3 phases. First, you have to diagnose. You got to be a detective and figure out where all your time is actually going. Second, you build your way out. And third, you execute a totally new way of working. Diagnose, build, execute. Okay, so that first phase, diagnose, kicks off with a time and energy audit. This is where you get super tactical. Step 1, you calculate your buyback rate, what an hour of your time is truly worth. We'll get to that in just a second. Then, for 2 weeks, you track everything you do in 15-minute blocks. I know, it's intense, but it is so worth it. As you do that, you assign a dollar value to each task. Are you doing $20 an hour work or $1,000 an hour work? And finally, you color code everything based on a simple question. Does this give me energy or does it drain me? This right here is probably the most important number in your business that you might not even know, your buyback rate. The formula is simple. Take your desired annual income and divide it by 2,000 working hours. That becomes your new filter for everything. If a task can be done for less than your buyback rate, you should not be the one doing it. So, what's your number?
So once you've diagnosed your time, it's time to build your escape route. And the main tool you're going to use for that is called the replacement ladder.
Now, it's really, really important you understand this is not an org chart. It's got nothing to do with titles or who reports to who. Think of it as a sequence, a step-by-step process for buying back your time by replacing yourself in 5 key areas of the business in order. Let's walk up the ladder together. You start at the bottom, rung 1, administration. Your inbox, your calendar, all that stuff. When you're stuck there, you just feel trapped. Delegate that, and you move to rung 2, delivery. That's your customer service, your client work. Doing that yourself makes the business feel stalled. Then comes marketing. Trying to do that alone creates a ton of friction. But then, when you get to rung 4 and replace yourself in sales, that's when you start to feel real freedom. And the final rung, leadership, is where you find your flow, working almost entirely in your genius zone.
As you climb that ladder, you're winning back all this time. But then what? This is the third phase. Execute. You need a new operating system for your life, and it's called the perfect week. This means you stop being a slave to your calendar and you start designing your week around your peak energy levels. You block out time for your genius zone work when you're at your best, and you protect that time like it's gold. It's a total shift from being reactive to being intentional.
So after all this work, where do you end up? What's the ultimate goal? Well, it's not about retirement. It's about living the buyback life.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The point isn't to work yourself to the bone for 40 years just so you can escape to a beach for a week. The goal is to design a daily life that's so engaging, so fulfilling, that you don't even feel the need to escape from it.
And look, that kind of life isn't just about work. It's built on 7 pillars. You got to invest in your health, make time for hobbies, and connect with your spiritual side. You have to nurture your relationships with friends and invest in love. You have to manage your finances wisely, and it all needs to be guided by a personal mission. If any one of these pillars gets shaky, the whole thing can become unstable.
And this all leads to one final kind of haunting question. It is so easy to tell yourself you're doing all this for them, for your family. But what if in that relentless chase for success, you miss all the little things that really matter? The ultimate cost of not buying back your time isn't just burnout. It's getting to the top of that ladder and discovering that the very people you did it all for have learned how to live without you. And that is a price that no entrepreneur should ever have to pay.